Hi guys, so my name is Florence Marie Blanco.
Good day, everyone. I am Janbar Abelia.
Good day, everyone. I am Francis Aguilar.
Good day, ma'am and classmate. My name is Eileen Cabrera.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Russell Basindanan.
Before we dive into our discussion, let's warm up our brains with a fun activity jumbled words. I'll give you a set of scrambled letters, and your task is to unscramble them to form the correct word. Let's see who can get it first. Are you ready? Let's go. Implementation. Curriculum. Evaluation. Teaching. Development. Job well done. Let's break it down and see how it relates to our lesson today.
So this will be our learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to first analyze different curriculum models, second examine the strengths and weaknesses of a curriculum, and lastly, discuss how these curriculum development models can be applied in the Philippine context. In this chapter discusses the processes for developing curriculum as presented by different scholars in curriculum development through their models. So these curriculum development models have been tried and tested by different curriculum developers across the globe in developing curricula from preschool education to graduate programs. So the models in this chapter are presented according to the three categories, which is the linear, cyclical, and dynamic. So understanding of various scholars of the nature of curriculum as a discipline and as a field of study. So different models are described based on the different views and processes of curriculum development they offer. So the linear models of curriculum development prescribe a rational step-by-step procedure for curriculum development starting with an objectives. So yung linear models of curriculum daw, nag-follow siya into step-by-step systematic approach that begins with setting clear learning objectives, followed by selecting appropriate content. Then they will organize the learning experiences of the students, and finally they can assess the student outcomes. Example, yung teacher is nagdetermine siya what students need to learn, kaya gumawa siya ng objectives para maganda yung flow ng lesson niya. Then after that, the teacher choose relevant activities like hands-on activities for his or her specific topics, and later on she assessed the learning of the students through quizzes, projects, or mga summative tests. So keep in mind na this structured approach have a clarity in organization in curriculum planning. Ralph Tyler at the University of Chicago developed the first model of curriculum development. So in this model was presented in his book Principles of Curriculum and Instruction that published in 1949. So Tyler argued that curriculum development should be logical and systematic. So in his model, presents a process of curriculum development that follows a sequential pattern starting from objectives to content learning experiences and evaluation. So like what I've said earlier, na this could ensures goal-oriented in this model. So for example, in an PE curriculum, if the objectives is to improve students' motor skills, dapat yung content would include some exercises and activities. So the learning experiences of the student would involve drills and practice sessions, and yung evaluation might include skill assessments. A follower of Tyler is another curriculum scholar, Hilda Taba. Hilda Taba presented her model in her book Curriculum Development, Theory and Practice in 1962. So her model is a modified version of Tyler's model. So Hilda Taba argued that curriculum development should follow a sequential and logical process, and she suggested more information input in all phases of curriculum development. So Hilda Taba also claimed that all curricula are composed of fundamental elements. For example, in an English curriculum, if yung objective nila is to improve students' essay writing skills, the teachers, they will first assess the students' writing levels, in which saan yung student magaling. So they can select appropriate topics. So by that, they can design step-by-step writing exercise, such as brainstorming. So after that, yung teacher can evaluate na the progress of the students through graded essays, and pwede na siya mag-adjust instruction as needed. So Hilda Taba's model is valued for its flexibility, that making it more responsive to students' need compared to Tyler's more rigid framework. Okay, so Alan Glattorn developed the standard-based curriculum development model. So, and this model was intended for developing curriculum standards for any discipline from basic education to higher education. So, in this model is widely used in various educational settings, including here in the Philippines, to create uniform and measurable learning outcomes from basic education to higher education. One of the example of this here in the Philippines is the K-12 basic education curriculum na na-implement by the Department of Education, which is the DepEd. They set specific learning standards for each grade level across different subjects. Like other schools din, like here in Ramon Magsaysay Memorial College, and also in Mindanao State of University, they are also apply standard-based curriculum models in higher education by following the Commission on Higher Education, which is the CHED. They set minimum learning competencies for each course. So take note that this model, the curriculum remains systematic na naka-align with both national policies and local educational needs. Okay, so in the Glattorn's model is a linear and rational approach to curriculum development that emphasizing the systematic creation of standards as the starting point, that incorporates, okay, take note, multiple sources in developing curriculum standards, and this highlights the importance of teacher input, which is often overlooked here in the Philippines due to the top-down approach in education policy making. A strong example of this model in the Philippines is yung sinabi ko na K-12 curriculum na na-implement by the Department of Education. So in this, the development of K-12 curriculum is nag-follow dyan siya into a linear and top-down structure, where yung DepEd formulated learning standard based on international benchmarks, some national education policies, and also the expert recommendations. However, many teachers express concerns that their input were not fully considered, so that in making implementation is mas na-challenge sila in diverse classroom settings. For instance, here in General Santa City, there are a lot of public schools teacher handling senior high school subject like PE and also science that they are facing difficulties aligning lessons with prescribed competencies, while the curriculum provided a structure, scope, and a sequence teachers had only limited flexibility to modify content based on the student's needs. So in this situation, it reflects how Glatter's model is applied in a structured way, but also exposes, okay, limitation lang, okay, particularly in adapting the realities of Philippine education. So what is UBD, or we can call it Understanding by Design model? Was developed by Wiggins and McTeague 2002, and it has become a byword in the Philippine educational system because it was used to design the basic education curriculum in school year 2010 to 2011 before the K-12 education curriculum was implemented. So this emphasizes authentic assessment and ensures that the alignment with government standards, that making it a learner-centered and efficient framework. Like in the Glatter's model, this model also use values for the teacher's role in curriculum planning. Example of this is K-12 curriculum, okay, where yung UBD is used to design lessons with clear learning outcomes. So there are some schools din here in General Santos City na nag-apply ng UBD, like in English and science classes, na ensure na yung mga students is they can understand the concepts deeply before moving to the next topic. For instance, in science, instead of memorizing the water cycle, para mas makatuon or something makalearn yung student, they need to engage in experiments and also projects to demonstrate. So the model is also called backward design to put emphasis on designing curriculum to engage students in exploring and deepening their understanding. Because instead of traditional way of planning lesson, where yung mga teachers is they are starting with the topics or activities, this could be focusing or reverse focusing on what students should learn and achieve before designing instruction. Example, the subjects like Filipino, science, and social studies, like they are following the UBD principles. For instance, yung Araling Panlipunan, instead of simply listing the Philippine historical events, the students may be asked to analyze the impact of Spanish colonization and present their own insights, like for example yung mga role play, yung mga debates, ganyan. So they could be this could be intentional to be student centered and also having a more meaningful and effective learning.
These are the 3 stages of backward design. Stage 1 is to identify desired results. Stage 2 is to determine accepted evidence. And lastly, the stage 3 plan the learning experience and instruction.
Dito sa stage 1 is dinamention diri og dinapangutana og unsa ang understanding sa mga learners para ma-include ang mga students sa kung unsa ang dapat nila masabtan o unsa man ang dapat mabalaan o ang dapat nila buhaton within their development. So next, stage 2, the assessment that makes students to be encouraged and also to desire for learning that they will be achieved, and also to evaluate their learning. So this stage, guys, is the teacher will make a plan about their learning experiences that will be implement the curriculum, and the teacher will provide some of like activities and others that the students will do their activities para napod sila kanang mga participation o kanang knowledge, no? So we have here a systematic design model and possessed by Robert Diamond. So si Robert Diamond is originally developed the systematic design model in early 1960s. So since then it has undergone major revisions that its structure remains unchanged. That the model has 2 basic phases. So may dalawa tayong phases sa sa ganitong model, which is First is the project selection and design. So, and number 2 is the production, implementation, and evaluation.
So as you can see in the diagram, this illustrates we have the phase 1 project selection and design. So in this phase, this focuses, okay, take note, this focuses on planning a project by gathering important information like subject, knowledge, student needs, and school priorities. So in specific factors, this include the goals, times, resources, and the number of the students. So here in the phase 2, production, implementation, and evaluation. So in this phase is about creating and using the curriculum. So in phase 1 is about the planning and gathering information. Dito naman sa phase 2, take note na this step or this phase is about creating and using the curriculum. So dito they begin by setting learning goals, then choosing teaching methods, and checking available materials. If needed, new materials are made and tested.
When it applied this model in the Philippines, it may be challenging due to the weak research culture in educational institutions. Encouraging faculty members to engage in research can improve curriculum planning by providing data-driven insights for development and necessary changes.
So Mori Print published his model in his book Curriculum Development Design in 1988. His model, as shown in figure 6, prescribes a sequential and logical approach to curriculum development to provide a useful and easy to understand the process of developing curriculum.
These are the 3 phases of Print's curriculum development model. First is the phase 1. Organization. This include the curriculum passage to situational analysis to aims, goals, objectives. Phase 2. Development. This include the content to learning activities, and lastly the phase 3. Application. That includes implementation and modification.
First phase of Print model recognized the nature of the curriculum workers involved the development of curriculum accordingly in this phase. It is important to pose the following questions that may influence curriculum development. So the first question is, who are involved in this curriculum development and what, if anything, do they represent? Number 2, what are the conceptions of curriculum do they bring with them? Number 3, what are underlying forces, foundation, and competence developers thinking? So dito daw, binadescribe daw ni Mori Print ang model curriculum development, which is pina-introduce niya Mori Print in his book 1988 Curriculum Development and Design. So this model daw is to provide a systematic and logical approach to curriculum development. So the first phase daw is step-by-step process to ensure curriculum development structure and effective. The second phase is the model of task development curriculum. The procedure is cyclical, which begins with a situational analysis and continues with the aims to goals and objectives, content, learning activities, and instructional evaluation, and then continuing a situational analysis again. The third phase includes actual application that incorporates 3 major activities. The first one is implementation of curriculum. Number 2 is monitoring of the feedback from curriculum, and number 3, the provision feedback data for the research group. So sa second phase daw, in-focus dito ang develop ang curriculum continuous cycle situation para gina-understand ang operational context, the set aim goals and objectives. Sa third phase daw, kay implement ang real world, which is in-implement siya sa curriculum, monitoring and evaluating the curriculum effectiveness. 3 kay provide siya feedback to refine and improve future in curriculum development.
So cyclical model in curriculum development, it is a model that prescribes a continuous process of curriculum development. So cyclical model usually start with situational analysis that serves as the basis for all the succeeding processes.
The model also recognizes the influence and importance of contributing disciplines such as philosophy, psychology, and sociology in developing the curriculum. These disciplines are useful in selecting the curriculum goals and objective contents, learning experiences, and evaluation. The importance of these three disciplines in developing curriculum is also recognized in the model of Tyler in 1949.
Meaning that yung curriculum daw is constantly assessed and revised and also improve based on the current educational needs. Once ma-implement yung curriculum is ready to evaluated na and they will identify the strengths and areas for their improvement, so leading to further revisions, thus forming a continuous cycle of development. So one of the example of this is yung Matatag curriculum. Matatag curriculum is a real-world example of this model here in the Philippines. Okay, so the DepEd, which is the Department of Education, conducted a situational analysis, which is they nag-assess sila sa mga students, learning outcomes, teacher workload, and other curriculum content under yung original K-12 program. So, the findings showed that yung mga students were struggling with the foundational skills, and yung mga teachers were burdened because of maraming mga or something, they are overloaded with some content. Okay, so based on this, yung DepEd they redesigned the curriculum. Okay, so that curriculum focusing on essential learning competencies, so that ma-reduce yung mga subject which is overload. Okay, and this process demonstrate na yung curriculum development as a cycle where feedback, evaluation, and revisions ma-ensure yung curriculum na remains relevant and effective and responsive para sa mga needs of the students and also their educational system.
Good morning everyone, I am Russell Basindanan and today I am going to report about B. Wheeler's curriculum development model. In his influential book, Curriculum Process, Wheeler presented a cyclical process in which each element of the curriculum is related and interdependent. Although this model is also rational in nature, each phase is a logical development of the preceding one. One cannot proceed to the next phase unless the preceding phase is done. Wheeler also emphasized the importance of starting from the development of aims, goals, and objectives. Like think of a cycle on a bicycle or the wheels that keep turning in a continuous loop. Muna siya ang cyclical process. Now I'm gonna show you an example of cyclical process graph. Take a look at this plug cycle na ay karing eggs from tadpole to froglet, and similarly parehas na po sa curriculum na hindi pwede magdiretso teaching sa pag-evaluate dayon. Parehas sa life sang frogs na from egg, tadpole, froglet to adult frog na hindi ta pwede mag straight lang. Dapat sundo na to ang process kung paano magtudlo. Parehas po sa growth ng frogs, dapat ang process sundon para in turn natay or ang pagtudlo nato or ang pagdevelop sa mga bata is tama.
So the contextual filters model of course planning by Stark and Latuca 1997 explains how college courses are designed based on the three keys factors: content influences, which is the teacher's background and beliefs; contextual influences, the external factors like students' needs and available resources, and form the process of course design. And this follows a cyclical approach, meaning that after making decisions, yung mga educators can adjust, then they can refine based on the feedback and the real world based on the feedback and the real world conditions. Example of this here in the Philippines is the universities like the UP. and the Ateneo de Manila University, they use this model when updating their programs. For example, during the shift to blended learning, which is online to face-to-face classes, yung faculty had to reconsider content, like what topics to keep or to remove. So the students will adapt the needs, which is they can access to the technology and follow the course design guidelines of the DepEd and the CHED policies. So as the situation evolved, they can adjust the curriculum by integrating more digital learning tools and flexible assessments to ensure quality education despite the challenges.
So lastly, we have the dynamic models of curriculum development. So in this model, describes how curriculum workers develop curricula in various educational contexts. So in this model are usually ginagamit sa school-based settings, and this acknowledges na yung curriculum development daw is influenced by various factors like yung context, student needs, and also the emergent trends, requiring flexibility and adaptation throughout the process. Okay. Example of this is yung kay Walker's model, which focuses on stakeholder input and is considered na yung curriculum as a product of ongoing dialogue and adaptation to different contexts.
Okay, so Dr. Walker developed a model for curriculum development and first published it in 1971. So Walker contended that curriculum developers do not follow the prescriptive approach of the rational linear sequence of curriculum elements when they develop curricula. So in his model, Walker was particularly interested in how curriculum workers actually do their tasks in curriculum development. So in this identified three phases, which he termed platform, deliberation, and design. Okay, so these are the three phases of Walker's models of curriculum development. Walker suggested that curriculum workers bring with them their individual beliefs, knowledge, and values, and also they have their own ideas about paano gawin yung task, and also to prepared to discuss and argue about them. So in the first phase, kay similar lang to siya sa idea of print 1993 kina na diniscuss ni Mr. Aguilar kanina. So this first phase is similar to the of print 1993 of a curriculum presage. So the first phase of Walker's model called platform phase, so which means na yung personal and professional background is naka-influence on how curriculum is planned. So example of this is when the Matatag Curriculum 2023 was developed, curriculum experts, teachers, and educational officials all different views on what should be improved. Maraming nagsabi or maraming or there are some believe na that reducing subjects would help students focus better. Then meron din ng ibang nag-argue na that adding more practical skills was important. So their backgrounds and beliefs is naka-influence to their decisions. So in the second phase, we have deliberation phase. This phase is gagather siya important information, okay, and also this they think different options, and also they choose the best plan for a curriculum. Kasi yung mga curriculum planners is they look at a possible solutions na kinoconsider nilang advantages and disadvantages, and to decide which one will work best for students and teachers. So by that, chine-check din nila if their choice is practical and beneficial in the long run. So example of this is when yung DepEd introduced the mother tongue based multilingual education, which is yung MTB MLE, they decided in which language to include as the media of instruction. So they studied which kung anong local languages is more widely spoken compared sa benefits of using mother tongues in early education. So they considered challenges like training teachers and creating learning materials. After that, they review different options and they choose 12 major language para ma-implement in schools and ma-ensure na yung mga young learners could understand the lesson better in their native language. The third phase, which is the design phase. So Walker's model is a dynamic and descriptive model of curriculum development. It reflects the realities of how curriculum workers plan and develop a curriculum, and this recognize the role and influence curriculum workers in any curriculum development task. So, sinabi dito na yung Walker's model daw is flexible then realistic, na gina-show on how yung curriculum workers are actually gaplano and on how they create the school programs to understand that yung mga teachers, yung mga experts, and yung mga policymakers, they also play an important role, okay, in shaping the curriculum based sa mga experience nila, knowledge, and also the values. Instead of in this phase, instead of following a strict step-by-step process, yung model na to is this allows for discussion, changes, and improvements to meet the real world needs. So example here in the Philippines, when yung senior high school program is was added to K-12 system, yung education leaders is listen, or education leaders listen to teachers, parents, and industry experts to decide, to decide what subjects and tracks should be included. So they recognize need for academic, technical, vocational, sports, and arts design tracks to give, or para mabigyan yung mga students on more career and college options. So this decision making process showed na yung mga curriculum workers is actively shape the education based on their real life needs, just as Walker's model suggests.
Good day, ma'am and classmate. My name is Eileen Cabrera, and this is my report. Skillbix Curriculum Development Model. In 1976, Skillbix came up with a model for developing a school-based curriculum in Australia. His model presents a dynamic view of curriculum development. When using this model, curriculum workers may start from any phase. However, each phase is interrelated and follows a systematic sequence. Skillbix model includes a situational analysis that involves gathering data from the school, society, and learners. The result of the situational analysis provides strong basis for making curricular decision for all succeeding phase of curriculum development. Ang gingon diri si Skillbix daw po ay nagmumungkahi ng isang modelo para sa pagbuo ng curriculum para sa eskwelahan sa Australia. O kung gamiton tong iyang modelo, tong iyang gipromote, pwede na masugdan ang trabaho sa curriculum. Pero kadtong system na gyud ni iyang gipromote is na gyud to siya pagkasunod-sunod. Ang modelo na si Skillbix ay nakabibilang sa pagsusuri ng sitwasyon, pero kadtong trabaho nga iyang gipromote ni Skillbix konektado sa datos sa school, sa lipunan at sa mag-aaral. Skillbix Curriculum Development Model phases. First is situational analysis, and the second is goal formulation, the third is program building, and the fourth is interpretation and implementation, and the fifth, monitoring, feedback, assessment, and reconstruction. Eisner's artistic approach to curriculum development. Elliot W. Eisner was a famous curriculum scholar. In 1979, he published the book That Educational Imagination, where he presented his idea on how curriculum development should be done. Eisner in 1979 believed that there is a need to develop a new theory that recognized the artistic of teaching that useful in helping teachers development those arts. In his book, Eisner outlined how this artistic approach can also be used in curriculum development. Eisner artistic model of curriculum development. First is goal and their priorities, the need to consider less. Well-defined objective as well as explicit ones. The need for deliberation in talking through priorities. Second is content of curriculum option to consider and selecting curriculum. Caveats about the null curriculum. Third is type of learning opportunities, emphasis on transforming goals in content into learning event that will be of significance to a student. Organization of learning opportunities, emphasizing non-linear approach in order to encourage diverse student outcomes. Organization of content areas, emphasis on cross-curricular organization of content. The sixth is mode of presentation in mode of response, use of a number of modes of communication to widen educational opportunities for students. 7 is type of evaluation procedure, use of a comprehensive range of procedure at different stage of the process of curriculum development.
So, Greg Powellin is the author developed this model as one of the major outputs of his doctoral dissertation in the University of the Philippines, Diliman. It is intended to help curriculum workers develop curriculum that is relevant and appropriate to the Philippine context. Right. So this is the processes for developing curriculum under Powellin's model. This includes first, situational analysis. So this examines yung mga students, society, disciplines, and curriculum influences, which is yung kabilang na dito yung internal, external, and organizational. Second, the selection of goals and objectives. It derives from situational analysis. So the third is development of curriculum standards. This aligns content with setting the criteria and refine standards. So fourth, we have selection of content or subject areas. This determines subject included in the curriculum. So fifth, selection and organization of learning experiences, the plans, instructional materials, and learning activities. So 6, implementation. This is the actual teaching processes of the teachers, right? So 7, evaluation. This could be the last that assess curriculum effectiveness and revises it as needed. Alright, so as you can see in the picture, this categorizes the two models based on the primary dimensions, which is the prescriptive models and the descriptive models. So in the prescriptive models, such as makikita nyo dyan, yung Tyler's model, yung Tabas model, then followed by a structured and systematic approach. And this often starting with situational analysis in which meron siyang goal setting. Okay, so this is highly structured and easy to implement. So here naman sa descriptive models, makikita nyo dyan yung Walker's models na nag-focus more on the actual process of curriculum development in real world. Okay, so rather than imposing a rigid structure. So here naman sa rational or objectives-based models, na-include dito yung standard-based model and yung Wheeler's model na nag-emphasize a clear and step-by-step procedure to achieve specific educational goals. So in the dynamic or interaction-based models, magkita nyo dyan yung yung Isner's and Powell's models. This allows, or these models are flexibility, okay, or flexible, and interaction, making them more adaptable. So dito yung mga adaptation to diverse educational context. So these all rooted, okay, these all rooted and serve as distinct purposes, but they share, okay, common principles, like naka-influence sila sa curriculum factors, and also they reflect real world teaching process and adherence to curriculum theories.
Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this presentation meaningful. So, bye!